Excuse me. I, Zachary John Thayer, the Baron of Essex by birthright, Gerald Robert Ford's great-grandson, in federal identification of swearing against the state of California under federal identification number 4318190, and invoke the office of the library. In view of the state, I identify a constitutional clause against the British throne as the ability as the Baron of Essex to make the House of Normandy with the Duchess of York. In view of the state, I am identifying an Arkansas v. Delaware complex application based on the Hatch-Jones Act under Michigan v. the EPA, Oxford v. 3 Mile Island, Lopez v. the U.S., Matt v. Ohio, Bush v. Gore, Navy v. the U.S., questionable stakes in Executive Orders 13652, 13658, Executive Order 11508, and applicable wonderment of Executive Order 17317 based on the plutonium enrichment standard tied to the Gold Act. In questionable applications of the Jones Act based on model assessment, the regulatory tanking wonderment that is identified as questions in view of petroleum is identified in questionable wonderments to the land usage rights based on model. The Jones Act was originally created by Candace Eliza Lawson Gasser Jones, his father, as the EPA director in what I believe to be the Eisenhower or the Carter administration. Based on model assessment, ICTY International has been discontinued based on CPS Consulting, based on the view of passing my notarial license or the California State Bar, based on assessment of the hydrocore evaluation. The two designs of the hydrocore, an octagon with 8 wind turbines, turn your hands into C's, see your knuckles. Identify on your thumb where your knuckle is on your hand like a trigger, and see the same thing on your thumb. Put 2 C's together in your hand, justify it as position. You do not understand going like that. In that octagon, where my finger is here, where my finger is here, my knuckle there, my knuckle there, there, my thumb, tip of my thumb, and my other knuckle, where 8 wind turbines can be identified. In the middle, instead of seeing it being completely hollow, we will argue 1,000 solar panels with 775 kilowatts at full capability. 1,000 solar panels justify 77,500 kilowatts per hour at 16 hours of integration based on the geographical location. And model assessment that produces 1.3 million megajoules. This is not including using the octagon as a full turbine. See 5 hands, you would identify it as a pop bottle. See it as an oil rig and ask yourself 3-dimensional viewpoint. Ask yourself, instead of seeing your own self as the XY chromosome, instead of the XX chromosome, you'll call it the male genitalial part. In the view of the state, what you would argue as the male genitalial part as your hairs around it, you are going to identify that as ocean technology, Pelmus wave tech, sea stake technology, and hydro turbines that can sit in 4 to 8 foot and as much as 12-foot wave application. At a consistency of a 6 to 12 foot wave application, this design has the capability of producing 2.6 to 2.8 million megajoules at a consistency for a 30-day increment. Secondary designs, 2 fingers. Argue that my head, the space, you don't understand that you're asking 2 hydro turbines with a solar panel and tie. You call it labia 1, labia 1. What you would argue is the clitoris. We'll identify that that's not the U.S. historical building. We'll identify that that's not a generation facility. With 2 hydro turbines where the solar panel sits on top of it, where free fishing is identified on the opposite side of the docks, you would be arguing that in state parks that I could put a hydro turbine in a solar panel that produces 1/4 to 500,000 kilowatts. At 1/4 to 500,000 kilowatts, I have the self-sufficiency and self-capability of producing a hospital and being able to make a med point. 2-dimensional design analysis indicates that every third world country now has the ability in attainability to be able the ability to produce enough electricity to self-generate a hospital by a three-dimensional application. In Matt v. Ohio, this is identified as a structural wonderment to constitutional law theory based on UN Order 2826 and UN Order 71269 under Lopez v. the U.S. and applications to the Jones Act. In view of regulatory procedure code of conduct, this has been identified in UN Order 8532 in view of regulatory procedures under UN Order Civil Code 3 in view of the Eshman trials. Based on model assessment, the EPA, the Department of Interior, the NRC, and the Treasury has chosen to negate this based on the view of the county and the state. In Arkansas v. Delaware, I am choosing to augment this as a question in view of the state of California, county, and Napa, in view of blatant negligence by that of the state, in view of regulatory rights, and the valuation based on particle and political affiliation. This Land Reform Act request, based on Michigan v. the EPA and Honest 4 v. 3 Mile Island, shows exploratory wonderment in Uber v. Waco, Jason Dalton v. the U.S., Boyd v. Thayer, and model Navy v. the U.S., and Wolf v. Acting Secretary v. the U.S., based on a systematic approach to land referendum models between multi-districtal applications. In the view of third world countries, we are not capable of understanding this in proprietary procedure analysis. The Hydro Corps' valuation under UN Order 8526 values the corporation at $165 with a $215 valuation. I choose to identify a $67 to $85 purchase price range for Class A to Class G shares with an IPO price of $92.50. In this model assessment, this usage justifies compliantary reform in that of model. This model identifies in Colorado River Basin v. the U.S. And via the state and voices of the wetlands via the water resource. I'd also like to challenge this in Trump v. Hawaii and Trump v. the water resource based on tomorrow's application and tomorrow's board. The telecommunication is identified, FCC Broadcasting v. the U.S. and Columbia Walker v. the U.S. is requested in view of this upload to the Supreme Court. I am identifying CV210393, CV210337 TLT, or Appellate Justice Tarina Thompson, for administrative review of the case based on procedural and in view of the state asking that this video be used as an ad hoc vice as a pro se litigant into the Supreme Court based on model. Thank you.